What is up, guys? I'm John White here for a preset media tutorial, and we are going to kind of focus on black and white and making pictures black and white the correct way, and what to focus on so that when you begin getting more into photography, because I know a lot of people are going to eventually leave YouTube and start taking a more professional route, you really want to know what to focus on. So here's my original picture, and let me show you what a black and white filter would do. So this is how it would look with just a regular black and white filter. Now we'll start picking it apart a little more. After we're done, as you can see in this corner, you can see what we're really doing here. We're dropping a lot of colors. And here's kind of half. And if you can see right here, on these shades, you can really see it brings out a lot more detail. It can kind of look a little bit noisy, but I'm going to show you what the nice part about doing this is. So here's the full final product that we'll end up getting to, and this is what we started with the normal black and white filter. So you're really bringing out detail in the person you want it to focus on. By doing the way I'm going to show you, you're going to really alleviate the picture from all the noise that you would usually get with the black and white filter. So let me show you an example of what I mean. So here's my original. If I add a black and white filter, and as you can see, it'll let you adjust specific colors. So if maybe I turn the reds down, and maybe turn the yellows down, just trying to show you an example of what I mean by when it picks out colors. Alright, here's a great example. I'm just going to overdo this so you can get the point. When I turn these colors down in with the black and white filter, you can really just see it looks disgusting. The noise is just bad. As you can see, we're really just losing a lot of quality. When we do it this way, here's the comparison. You just keep so much more quality, and that's really what you need to focus on as a designer when it comes to even photography. So here's the picture we're going to work with, and here's another example of how it could do what it can do to your pictures. So here's the original image I had. Here's going to be the final product, and here's what it looks like with just the basic black and white filter. So as you can see, it's quite the difference, and it's going to work. It makes a lot of pictures nice. So let me find the original image here and just get rid of everything else. Alright, so here we go. Got our original image, and what I usually always do is duplicate it, get rid of the locked layer, don't need it. So now we got that duplicated. We're going to first start with our black and white filter, and I'm just going to leave it alone. There's really no need to really mess with anything because it's really going to damage the image if we do. So we're going to go, make sure you have your adjustments, by the way, window adjustments, and I keep mine over here. So now what we're going to do is add a curves adjustment layer. So what we do with that, we're going to go all the way to the bottom left, grab that little dot, and what this does is affect the lows. I'm going to take that and move it a little to the right, just until the point where I start seeing a point in the image where it's fully black shaded in. And my focus right now is kind of the bottom of the right shades. As you can see, right under them where the shadow would be, it's really starting to take over. So that's good. You don't want to get crazy and move it like that. It's really going to ruin the quality. So you just want to go just a little bit, and that's what's going to make the detail and make the image stand out. So we got that now. I'm going to click out of the layer, and we're going to make another curves adjustment. This time we're going to focus on the highs. So grab the top right, move it up a bit, until we start seeing a little bit of white. I'm focusing right to the left of her and around her face, actually. So right about there. You don't want to overexpose it. Overexposure is when, here's a great example. I'll just turn my white all the way up. As you can see, now this whole area above her head and her face is just a blotch of white. You still want to keep the detail, so we're going to turn it up just a touch. Right about there. And you could usually do this with one curves adjustment, but it's nice to have everything separated, because as you can see, I can focus on each one now. It makes it a little bit easier. Alright, so we got this far, and now what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control Shift and N, or Command Shift N on Mac, and I'm going to go to my paint bucket, and I'm going to make sure my color is on black, and I'm just going to fill it. Alright, so now it's just this black space, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click my masks. You can do that. I think you can just go to Window and then Masks, or on your layers, you can make sure layers highlighted, and right next to the FX, you can click that, and a little white box will appear. So now I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool, or you can even use a gradient. And what you do is anything that is black on top of this white box is going to disappear. So what I want to do is basically focus on one soft brush. I usually keep one big spot, and then what I do is I take this brush now and I lower it in size, here's about the size of her head should do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start outlining her, just not too specifically. You really don't have to put too much focus into it, but just enough to make it so that she stands out, or the subject of your photo, whatever you want to stick out. And just with the first soft brush we just want it to kind of glow out around her. So what we do with this layer now is we're going to go to our blending modes, and we're going to go to soft light. So here's the difference. What this really did is target all the darks around her now, and it's really going to start bringing it out. As I was saying with this whole drape, it's really, with this black and white, it's really bringing out the details. So with this layer, I can continue using my brush and just kind of going over this, just if I wanted to. I'm not really too worried about it because I kind of like the detail it's giving. But what you might want to do is maybe add some highlight to the top, maybe right above her, almost like there's a light right there. So that'll look nice. Now the next focus of this picture is going to be the right versus the left side. As you can see, the left side is there's a complete difference. The left side is very bright, and compared to the right, almost looks like it has a vignette over it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new layer. Control Shift N, Command Shift N for Max, and I'm just going to take my brush tool, make sure it's on black, and I'm just going to brush over it with a nice big soft brush, just like this. And if you want to know how to get to your brushes, you can right click in the middle and you'll have a bunch, and just pick a size. The higher you get, the bigger it gets. And if your brush is looking like this, then you can right click and go to your hardness and set it to 0. So that's a little quick tip. So what I'm doing is I'm brushing over whatever portion I want to be dark so I can match the other side, and I'm just going to take this blend mode, which is right here where it says normal, click down and click soft light. Now it's almost there, as you can see. What I'm going to do now is maybe just duplicate it. You can hold Control J, and it's almost there. We can see it kind of fading in over here, so a nice way to do that is get your eraser. I don't really condone using eraser that much, I'm not going to lie. So you can even mask it. That's what I'll do. And we'll just mask right over here because I don't want it to creep into the picture. I don't want it to be that noticeable. Alright, so there we go. And now we're slowly just working our way there. We're almost done now. And I kind of want to make her face stand out a little more. So there's two ways of doing this. The first way, you can just take a brush, change it to white, brush right over the portion you want to stick out, and mess around with some blending modes. Okay, let's see here. We just want it to kind of highlight it and not overexpose it. Alright, so let's see. Right here we got a lot of overexposure, but what I'm going to do is turn the opacity down. Now this will usually work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. For this instant, it's really not working, so I'm just going to delete that. But for color photography, it's a great way. What I'm going to do, make a new curves adjustment. Grab my paintbrush, and I'm just gonna, never mind, grab your paint bucket, and I'm gonna cover the mask. So now, what I'm gonna do is grab my paintbrush tool, grab the color white, make sure my mask is selected for the curves adjustment, and just kind of take a little guess on where her face would be. Alright, so now I'm just gonna take my curves, and I'm gonna mess with the colors, probably just bring up the brights. Not too much, don't want to kill her face with the exposure, and bring down the lows a touch, and find a happy medium. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this picture. Add maybe a little final touch, duplicate the bottom layer, bring it to the top, change the fill to 0, double click it, add a stroke, change it to inside, and bring that up, maybe add a little border. And that's a little bit big of a border. You gotta really know kind of what looks good and what doesn't, and if you're thinking it looks bad, then it's probably looking bad. What I can also do now is maybe drop a vignette a little more on these corners, and maybe even make her stand out even more. So what I can do is grab my gradient tool and make a radial gradient from black to white. Oop. And then we'll work from there. But basically it's done for now. Remember, you don't want to overexpose stuff, and you really just want to focus on quality. Whoa. So we can do that. Color burn it, turn the opacity down. It's not looking too good, so we'll change it up a little. Cool. I'm actually liking a little brush right on here. We'll put it under the stroke. Maybe even turn it down a touch. Alright, awesome. So this is our final product. And what we started with was this. Oh, dropped it. And we started with this. So, boom, goes the dynamite. And this is what it would look like with a regular black and white filter. So, a little example of that. Merge these. You got quite the difference. It's a lot more showy now, and now maybe, depending on what you're doing, you can add your name to the corner, and that's about it for this tutorial. I am John White. Have a good one, guys.